Guy Raz, How I Built This, the most inspiring entrepreneurs in the world, share their unexpected roads to success. What's it about? Entrepreneurship. The 2020 book, How I Built This, takes readers on a tour of the winding path to success as an entrepreneur. Based on the #1 business podcast on iTunes, it has received 200 million downloads to date. How I Built This follows the stories of successful business leaders, highlighting their challenges and successes. How I Built This is a radio show on National Public Radio, where journalist Guy Raz interviews successful entrepreneurs about their paths to success. 19 million people listen to his shows each month as a collective. What's in it for you? A roadmap for success crafted by the most inspirational business people on the planet. Everyone loves hearing about heroes. Mythology, superhero stories, and biblical narratives often have unconventional heroes who face death, stick to their beliefs, and eventually become famous and successful. You can discover the true nature of the entrepreneurial journey by reading this book. Accompany startup founders as they go from the inception of their concept to a state of desperation, discrimination, and poverty. In the end, you'll rejoice alongside them when they achieve a success that goes beyond just financial gain. You can have all the money and work ethic in the world, but without a solid idea, you won't succeed. Chef and restaurateur Jose Andres argues that the solution is both. When you're actively moving and searching, ideas happen. So, what's the trick to knowing whether an idea is good enough? If you think it's worth upending your whole life to pursue, it's probably a good one. The key message here is, some opportunities are simply too great to pass up, but look before you leap. For Jim Koch, things were good in 1984. As a successful management consultant, he was on his way to financial success that would ensure your children never have to worry about money. He was unhappy with his job and always felt that there was a gap in the market for European-style craft beer, which was his family's traditional business. Jim's family was horrified at the thought of him leaving his job, but for Jim, the choice was clear. Fortunately, Jim doesn't feel regret for anything anymore. The Boston Beer Company, which he created, generated $1.3 billion in sales in 2019. Those figures should be enough to inspire anyone to follow their passion and take a risk. Proceed now. Avoid jumping without a parachute, though. Damon John, the founder of the hip-hop clothing brand Fubu, used to work as a waiter at a Red Lobster in Queens, New York. Even with the brand's success, Damon was aware that he was always on the verge of bankruptcy. Even while the work was unglamorous, it kept the bad guys out and eventually allowed Fubu to advance to the next level. Fubu, which was founded 6 years ago, got a big investment in 1995 because Damon's mother posted an ad in the New York Times. Take caution when assembling your support system, and don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Humans just don't do as well on their own. We're social animals. Both at home and at work, we are a collective. Collaborating with loved ones, including family, friends, and co-founders, improves our ideas. It is far too difficult to run a startup alone. There are many more heartbreaking lows than breathtaking highs on this lonesome journey. Even the titans of business, such as Bezos, Musk, and Zuckerberg, began their ventures in partnership. You ought to as well. The main point is to build a strong support system and ask for help when you need it. You should choose a co-founder whose skill set is complementary to your own. Fashion marketing specialist Jen Rubio didn't need a co-founder when she came up with the idea for the first Away bag in 2015. However, she couldn't have produced it on a large scale without the assistance of supply chain expert Steph Corey. They raised a total of $2.5 million for their firm, even before their first suitcase queue was introduced. The rewards arrived a little later for Eric Ryan and Adam Lowry, the creators of Method cleaning products. After their founding, it took a year for their products to be carried on Target's stores. They maxed out all of their credit cards, lived in the same room together, worked until all hours of the night, and mostly survived on instant ramen noodles. A strong business is built on the kind of relationships like this, but friendship alone isn't enough to launch a profitable company. You also require money. However, start by looking to your closest and dearest before turning to professional investors. Give in to your ego and want payment from them. Respond to all of them inquiries on why your proposal is unbeatable. The main takeaway is this: it is your responsibility as an entrepreneur to creatively position your brand. It's likely common knowledge that requesting a seat at a crowded marketplace by knocking on the front door isn't always the best course of action. Ask 5-hour Energy Shots originator, Manoj Bhargava, for proof. Every time Bhargava entered a convenience store and saw the refrigerators filled to overflowing with energy drinks, his heart would sink. How was he going to compete? However, he had a cunning move. He reduced the size of his drink to a 2-ounce shot rather than competing against the heavyweight 16 ounces. It was successful. 6 months after the debut, Bhargava was selling 10,000 bottles a week. There are other ways to draw attention to your company as well. Making a pitch to influencers can generate a lot of publicity. With their away bags, Steph Curry and Jen Rubio accomplished this with remarkable success. They paid a public relations firm to get their luggage featured in Vogue before they even had a suitcase on the market. They went on to sell out of their first batch of products. Getting regular people to discuss is, nevertheless, the finest method to attract attention. Nothing influences people more than a recommendation from a trusted friend, as Facebook's CEO Mark Zuckerberg put it. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy task. For most people, it's not natural. But when investors don't return your calls and no one buys your stuff, that's the one time it gets really tough. Paul Graham, a co-founder of Y Combinator, refers to this as the trough of sorrow. Just keep going. Examine the larger picture instead of becoming bogged down in the details of your startup's issues. Investment is the path out of the valley of despair for a lot of company founders. However, the financial gain is not free. Venture capitalists are there to siphon off as much of your valuable business as they can. Your task is to create a fantastic product and market it to consumers. The money will come if you do that successfully enough, the author says. Like Stacy Madison and her former boyfriend Mark Andrus, you too need to be honest and pragmatic about the chances that are in your immediate environment. They were serving baked pita chips to customers in queue as they operated a profitable sandwich cart company in Boston. The pair decided to switch their attention from sandwiches to chips in 1998, after people went crazy about them. Stacy's generated $65 million in sales by 2006, the year PepsiCo bought the company. Putting your pride aside is a sign of resilience in times of hardship, advises Guy Raz. He warns that risk-taking increases with success and sales figures. Regardless of your level of caution, bad things will inevitably happen. When disaster comes, a company that has good leadership can survive. Businesses with a mission-first approach succeed more readily. The most terrifying aspect of being an entrepreneur isn't what you may imagine. It's not a failure. It's actually a success, notes Raz. If you're successful, legacy and continuity take center stage. You must go back to the original motivation behind your startup, whatever it was, if you want to create a business that endures. In business, success is more than just making money. It also concerns purpose. The takeaway here is that companies with a mission-first approach succeed more readily. Firms with a clear mission perform better during difficult times as well as after they have achieved success. This is due to the fact that their creators and staff are driven by factors other than money and are therefore less inclined to desert the company when things become difficult. Jen Hyman had many reasons to resign from her position as founder of the online designer rental firm Rent the Runway. She was worn down and demoralized to start by the misogyny and chauvinism she encountered when presenting her company to male venture capitalists. However, Jen Hyman refrained from allowing her rage to get in the way. She wasn't going to these VCs to become wealthy. She was acting on her conviction that the mission of her organization was to empower women. Hyman's objective served as a shield from all the misogyny, disappointment, criticism, and uncertainty. Finally, Rent the Runway reached a $1 billion valuation in 2019 because, to Hyman's mission, making decisions is also much easier when you stay true to your mission and principles. The main takeaway from this book is, the road of becoming an entrepreneur is far more rewarding and challenging than it is portrayed to be. Becoming an entrepreneur is more than just a job. It's a time-consuming procedure that could transform your life or give it new purpose. You won't only become wealthy if you succeed, you'll know what your mission is.